Hey guys, how are we doing? Welcome to a Talking Point show here on Buzzing Pattaya, and to today's talking point, and that is things that may surprise you when you come here. And what I want to do is I want to get the best out of this video. So before I go into my topics, what I would like to request is, guys, you remember when you first came out here, some of the things that surprised you, please, drop your comments down below, share your experiences. That's what really makes the community so solid. We've got a lot of people with a lot of experience, far more than me in many cases, that can happily share what they found was really strange and what surprised them. If you haven't been out here before, well, watch this video, because trust me, we're going to show you and talk to you about some things that you really are going to think, wow, does that really happen? And yes, it does. Now, before I get started, please have a look at our new website, buzzingpattaya.com. It's full of information exactly about the things we're going to talk about today. So have a look on there, please, guys. Let me know your thoughts. And on the left-hand menu, if you click the last button down there, there's a link there to our members area, which shows you all the kind of stuff over there that I can't put in here. All right, so now, don't worry. As always, you're not going to look at me. Bo, can you put some overlays on, please, for me now? All right, there we go. So, firstly, now these in no particular order. These are just things that I think you should be aware of, particularly if you are a newcomer, you've not been here before, because these things happen on a daily basis, and I really do mean this. So the first thing, motorbikes. The motorbikes out here are a very, very popular form of transport. There's probably more motorbikes, I guess, than there are cars in this country. But basically, you need to be very, very careful or very aware of them when they're around you. And that is every minute of every day. As soon as you step outside, you're going to see motorbikes everywhere. And they will ride everywhere. And I mean that in terms of they'll go along the pavement. So if you're walking down the road, you're on the pavement, don't be surprised. Don't think, wow, what's all that about? Like, how's he just ridden down the pavement? They will do it to jump ahead of the traffic queues. And it's just a common day-to-day occurrence. Don't be surprised. It really is just something that happens. But please be very, very aware. They'll go the wrong way. You might be walking along the road and suddenly a motorbike will go the opposite direction on the wrong side of the road. It's just a standard day-to-day practice. It's something that they do. It doesn't really get frowned upon. It's just accepted as part and package of the way they get around here. So please, don't take it for granted. The minute you do that and you think, well, that's okay, I'm going my way, unfortunately, you may find you come unstuck. You'd be amazed, and here's a question for you guys. What's the most amount of people you've ever seen on a motorbike out here? It's very, very common to have 3 to 4 people on a motorbike. Sometimes they'll have 3 to 4 people, and they'll even be carrying maybe a baby, or sometimes a pet. They'll carry their dogs on the bikes. It really is squeeze up. Let's get as many of us on there as we can, and let's go for it. So, when you're walking down the road and you see 5 people whiz past you on a motorbike, don't be afraid. It's just the way it is. They'll also carry stuff. I've seen push bikes being carried on the back of a motorbike, being held by someone. I've seen all manner of different frames and signs and stuff that they carry. And again, that builds into the whole point of how wide they're going to be when they ride past you. They may well clip you. So, just be aware of your surroundings at all times. Of course, we've got the most annoying part of them. That's the loud exhaust. The police, they are illegal. The police, if they do catch you, they will fine you, and that you'll get a certain amount of time to go and get it removed. And what they've started to do now is up at the MOT station, they won't accept if you've got a loud exhaust. But they are still out there. They are very common. So again, you are going to hear these motorbikes as they zoom past you with a huge noise, exhaust, and all the rest of it. Don't expect them to indicate. It's very common for people not to indicate here. They just whip around the corner. Maybe they leave their indicators on, so you think that they're going to turn, and they don't. They just keep going. You're like, cheers, mate, thanks for that. So, those kind of things don't take for granted. Likewise with helmets. Yes, you should wear a helmet here by law, but occasionally you will quite often see people without a helmet. Specifically if they're going like on a short little journey, and maybe they're not going on in the main roads, they might be around sort of a cow area, so they just won't put a helmet on. So don't be surprised. And if you do hire a motorbike out here, and I strongly suggest you don't, but if you did, don't be surprised when you come back. It might have moved slightly. Maybe they've crammed 2 bikes in next to you, and you need a can opener to get your bike back out again without scratching each other's bikes. It really is just a carefree attitude. In fact, some places where it gets very, very busy, what they will do is they will ask you to leave the bike unlocked so that they can actually drag out and move it if they need be, if the spaces are limited. So again, you know, these kind of things happen on a day-to-day basis. The next thing, walking around. When you walk around here, please be really, really careful and be certain to make yourself fully aware of the pavements. Unfortunately, there are areas here where the pavements are cracked, the paving slabs are broken or even missing. Quite often where they've put like a concrete block together with some iron spikes, maybe they're going to build a tower that didn't come through. They might put a Coke can over the top or something like that. But you know, they offer very little protection, particularly if you fell over it and you put your whole body weight. A Coke can is not going to stop the steel pipe, the steel, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, the steel thing, I've lost my words. That's really thrown me. What am I looking for? Oh God. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Those steel spike. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Got there in the end. The steel spikes from going through into your body. So, you know, please guys, really, really be careful when you're walking around. Check out the pavements ahead of you. Likewise, above you, there's a lot of hanging cables and wires. Sometimes the wires are left without any protection on the end. I mean, I'm not brave enough to touch them to tell you whether they're electric or not. I'm sure people will say, don't worry, Trev, they're just telecommunications, there's no voltage in them. But even so, I'm not prepared to take the risk. And likewise, I wouldn't expect you to. So be very, very careful on that side of things, guys. There's very little health and safety here in terms of, you know, signs will be just left out in front of you. There's no warning. They won't cone areas off and stuff. So, you know, just you've got to keep your wits about you. Make sure that you really are ahead of the game. Particularly in some areas, like say for instance Soibakau in the area here, it gets very, very busy. One tip I can give you, and please guys, you know, live by this religiously, is face the oncoming traffic. Don't walk with your back to the traffic, because if you do that, you know, you are very likely, like I mentioned, with all the things they carry, etc., congestions, you might step out into the road. Please, you know, don't make yourself one of the casualty statistics here. Face the oncoming traffic. At least that way you've got an opportunity to dive out the way when you see the guy coming towards you. Watch for the motorbikes. You know, when the motorbikes are roaming around, they will clip hold you. So just be very, very careful. Street sellers, when you're walking around, they'll grab you, and we're going to talk about street sellers in a bit. You know, they'll grab you. Oh, Mister, you want this? You want this? You know, just keep walking. And likewise, when you go past bars, you know, often, you know, particularly with the ladyboys, it seems more the ladyboys than it does the normal bars. But the ladyboy bars, they tend to want to grab hold of you and say, hey, come on in. So, you know, these are the things that you're going to get when you're walking around. You're also going to get the massage shops asking you every time you walk past, Mister, you want a massage? Just accept it is what it is out here. I know it might get a little bit annoying, but it just is the way it is, and you've just got to let it pass you by and just walk to wherever it is you're going. The next thing, ice in your drinks. Yes, we put ice literally everywhere. And right now, you're actually out there, I'm guessing. Maybe if you're here, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about regarding ice, because it's Songkran. And today, and particularly tomorrow's going to be mental. So if you are here, get out there, come and join the buzzing party, and I'll give you a free t-shirt. We're going to go off with a team buzz, and we're going to have a bit of a laugh. But what I will say about ice is they put ice in the drinks. It's a very warm climate out here. It's very hot. And they will think nothing of putting ice with your beer. So don't be, you know, what's that about? But when you order your beer, if you order a bottle of beer, obviously there's no ice in there. But if you say I want a glass of beer, they will often ask you, do you want ice? So just let them know yes or no. I've even seen it occasionally in glasses of wine. It just helps cool the drinks down. I'm not quite sure about the wine situation. I'm not a wine drinker, but apparently, well, not apparently, but they do it. They put it in there. So I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. Food. Quite often your food, particularly if you get any like vegetables like raw cabbage and stuff like that, that will come out on a bed of ice, as will things like raw fish and stuff. So, you know, be prepared that there will be dishes coming out with ice, and it is just part and package of the way of it, but the food's great. And likewise, markets. If you go down to the Naklua fish market, be very, very careful, because everywhere is flooded with water, simply because all the ice melts where the fish are on top, and you'll end up walking around in puddles and stepping into puddles. You might think, why am I saying this? But here's the reason. If you've happened to have a small cut on your foot, or maybe your toe or your toenail or whatever, and you get that water inside that cut, the likelihood is you'll get an infection. So just, you know, just giving you a little bit of a tip, a little bit of a heads up. Mobile phones. Yes, this world is governed and dictated to by the mobile phone. The one thing that you will find is that no matter what situation the Thai people are in, I'd say 95 to 96% of them, that's a weird stat, 95 to 96% of them will all have a mobile phone. They live on the things. I've got a 52-inch TV and my wife sits on the floor and watches a movie on her phone. And I'm like, sweetheart, I could just put that on the TV. No, it's okay, I'll watch my phone. And I'm thinking, why? You know, why? There's a beautiful TV we've got. Why don't we just use it to its potential? But no, she'll watch it on her phone. Likewise, they play games. You know, these games, they are so popular. In fact, they're actually potentially really here a problem with the youth of today because they spend more time playing games on their phones than they do actually doing anything else. So don't be surprised when you see people walking around with their head down, playing the game. They won't see where you are. They won't look where they're going, and they may well walk into you. So again, you know, you just need to be that little step ahead and just think, oh, hang on, they've got a mobile phone in their hand. Probably our chances are they're not actually paying attention to what they're doing. Right, next one. This is a good one. You're going to like this one. Sexuality. Out here in Thailand, it is a very open, a very level playing field. There is no pointing fingers, laughing, giggling, all that kind of stuff. Everybody here is welcome to be however they wish to be. And by that, what I mean is we have gay areas here. Obviously, you've got the transgender. The lady boys are very, very prominent here. There's a lot of tomboys here. You know, there really is a mix of every kind of possible sexuality that you could expect. And the nice thing about being out here, and what will surprise you, is I can only relate this back to, say, like London. If I walked around in London and a ladyboy walked past me before I lived out here, I'd be like, wow, what's all that about? You know, there's a dude in a dress. But out here, it's completely the opposite. It's like absolutely, I've got some wonderful ladyboy friends. I really have. They're fantastic. You know, and I have to be careful how I talk about like this because I don't want to come across as I'm judgmental. But what I'm saying is it's very easy to pass judgment if you're not used to it. So it will surprise you. These are the sort of things that will surprise you when you come out here. The ladyboys are very confident. Okay, they will think nothing of stopping you, standing in your way, trying to beckon you into their bars, trying to get you to come in. They may even hold your arm or whatever. You know, it is just day to day the way it is out here. So if a ladyboy does grab you, just be polite, smile, say, I'm okay, thank you, and just keep walking. That's the key to it, is just keep walking. Eventually she'll let go because she's not going to let you drag her down the road. So eventually she will let go, but just be polite, remain calm, don't panic, don't start getting, oh, don't you touch me and all that stuff, because that will end up in a real bag of worms. Just simply say, I'm okay, thank you, and keep walking. Or I'm in a rush, I'm sorry, I've got to meet someone another time, and just keep walking. Make up any excuse. But don't be surprised. You know, they will stop you. They will try and entice you to come into their bar and have a drink. But like I say, you know, just be polite. Just, you know, remain focused on the direction you're walking in, and it'll all be good. Affection. Affection also is quite a weird one. Now, you might see it more so here in the city, but certainly if you go up to the villages, and let's just say you've gone up to the villages with your girlfriend, and you want to hold her hand walking around, or you want to caress her or touch her, like, you know, put your arm around her shoulder, whatever, when she's sat out in public, they don't like that. That's not the way it is. Affection is mainly kept inside private homes and not for public display. I know when you come down here, it's very, very different. I don't need to go into that. You know what I'm saying. But the actual reality is that public affection, particularly when you step outside of the entertainment zone, is not, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but it's just not really done. And don't be offended if your girlfriend or your missus or whatever, when you go out walking, she will walk behind you. And the reason that they do that is out of respect. Okay, they will never walk in front of you. Very rarely will they walk next to you, and but most likely is they will walk behind you just slightly. It annoys the hell out of me because I'm constantly saying Mo, and I'm like, just come up here. But it's just the way they are. They don't walk next to you or in front of you. They walk behind you, which is a sign of respect to you guys. Street vendors. Oh man, these are going to surprise you. I'll tell you what. You can buy anything and pretty much everywhere, and they will think nothing of interrupting you. And I mean, if you're sitting there drinking with your friends, they'll come into the bars and they'll ask you, do you want to buy this, you know, ceramic jug or whatever. You know, if you're eating your food, again, they'll come up and they'll stop you. Maybe they'll try and sell you the lottery. You know, whatever they're selling, and trust me, they sell all kinds of weird. Here's one for you. Here's a question. What is the most interesting random thing that you've ever been asked to buy by a street vendor? And let's keep it sensible, please, guys. One thing to be very careful of is whatever you buy, it is sold as seen. So when you got the guy walking past trying to sell you a watch, or maybe he's trying to sell you some entertainment enhancement, whatever it is they're selling, it is sold as seen, guys. So if it goes pear-shaped, you're on your own, guys. You bought it, you see it, you bought it, that's it. There's no comeback. You can't say, excuse me, mate, my watch has stopped working 2 days later. They're not going to be interested. You bought it. As far as they're concerned, that's the transaction. Finished, done and dusted. All I'll say is if it's cheap, and you can get a lot of things out here very, very cheap, but if it's too cheap, just, give it a thought for a second. If he's trying to sell you a Gucci watch for like a 500 baht, well, the chances are it's probably not Gucci. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not a detective or a superintendent, but I mean, I could work that one out myself. But at the end of the day, be very, very careful. The lifespan, like these Ray-Bans, they come around, they're trying to sell you a Ray-Ban. It's about as close to a Ray-Ban as I'm a giraffe. You know what I'm saying? It just isn't happening. It just ain't there. These are maybe counterfeit copy products, but they're just nothing like what you expect you get. So please be very, very careful. It's sold as seen. Excuse me. Another thing to do is, they are going to pest you. So just be polite and firm and just ignore them. Say, no, thank you, and just look away. They get this every minute of every day. So you're not going to offend them. They're just going to accept that and they'll move on to the next person sat next to you or down wherever they're going. So don't be afraid to be polite and firm, but don't be afraid to ignore them as well. I'm not interested, mate. Look away and they'll move on. One thing to be aware of, and this will surprise you if you've not been here before, when you're laying down on the beach and you're on the sunbeds and you're fast asleep, all of a sudden someone's tugging on your foot, you look up and there's a guy there trying to sell you, I don't know, a wand, whatever, a fan, anything. They won't think anything about waking you up. That's just part and package in the parcel. As far as they see it, you're an opportunity to sell, and the fact that you're asleep is just a momentary hiccup, and then they'll overcome that, like I've just said. Okay, next thing, eating. There's no time to have a set meal. They eat anything and they'll eat it at any time. So we don't have breakfast, we don't have lunch, we don't have evening dinner, we don't have a set structure, and also we don't have set products that we can eat during that set time. So for instance, I'm from London, I'm from England, so for us, you would have cereal, you would have toast, you would have an English breakfast, you might have some fresh fruit, but you wouldn't have a steak, French fries, baked beans, and a couple of pineapple rings. You wouldn't have that for your breakfast. Out here, you can eat what you want, when you want. It really is as open as that. There's no set stuff. So don't think, oh, I've got to eat this because it's breakfast, or oh, I can't eat this until it's lunchtime or whatever. You eat whatever you want, when you want. And trust me, if you're with a Thai woman, they'll soon show you the way. They'll pile it on the plate in the morning, they'll eat their food, no dramas. It doesn't have any correlation to the time of day that you happen to be eating. One thing to be aware of is spices. Remember, guys, the food here, most likely, unless you're in a European restaurant, but most likely any Thai food that you eat, most of it will contain some form of spice and sugar. So, if you don't want any spices, just say, no spicy, please. My cypric, just ask, I don't want any spice, please. And, be careful about the sugar, that they might put sugar in. So you have to tell them, I don't want no sugar either. So just be aware of that. 3 dishes I do want to say to you though, guys, when you come out here, please try these. These are fantastic. Trademark dishes of Thailand. Number 1 is Pad Thai. And you can have Pad Thai with chicken, beef, prawns. It is a fantastic dish. It's a noodle dish. Really is. It's one of my favorites. Tom Yam. Tom Yam is a soup. You have Tom Yam Goong, you can have prawns in there, you can have squid, you can have beef, you can have chicken. It really is, it's a spicy soup, but it's bloody lovely. And also the most traditional dish that you'll see pretty much everywhere and anywhere is Kapau Mulsap. Kapau Mulsap is a spicy pork dish on rice, and you can also get a fried egg with it, and it's with basil. It's lovely, it's one of my favourite dishes. So, just bear in mind about the spices, that's all I'll say on that one. Right, last but by no means least is dress how you want. When you come out here, you might think to yourself, yeah, I've got my best gear, I've got my Bobby Dazzlers, I've got it all going on, ready to go out there and impress. And then a guy walks past you with flip-flops and socks, Bermuda shorts, a Chang vest, and a hat back to front. And you're like, what are you doing? There is no criteria how you dress out. You can be as relaxed as you wish. I've even seen people come into a go-go bars with sunglasses, wearing a suit, smoking cigars. I mean, honestly, that it really is an open forum. You can wear whatever you want, when you want, how you want. Nobody really cares. You might get the odd person raise an eyebrow at you, but it really is just acceptable. So whatever you want to wear, you feel free, and dress to impress or dress to feel comfortable. Whatever you choose, it really is up to you. What I will just say is one thing, guys, is I'm going to cover a video soon as to how the girls perceive you, what goes on in their mind to work you out as to whether or not they want to come and sit with you, and why will they come and sit with you. So I'm going to do a video, and that has some reference to dress code, so I'll cover that in another video. One last thing to let you know, guys, and I mentioned this and people are like, really? But it is illegal. It is illegal to walk around here without a shirt on. I know you see guys walking around strutting out their six packs or, you know, displaying their beer bellies, but whatever they're doing, if they haven't got a shirt on, they are actually, strictly speaking, breaking the law. I've yet to see someone or hear of anybody that's been arrested. Maybe you have. Have you ever been fined on the spot for no shirt? I have. I've never seen any problems with it, but it is illegal, believe it or not. So there you go. Make sure when if you've got your six-pack on display, then you know, be prepared. You might get a tap on the shoulder and say, mate, for every one of those little bit of six-pack you got there, it's going to cost you 100 baht. All right, so there you are. That's it, guys. That's a few things that may surprise you when you come out here, particularly if you've been out here the first time. You've never been. You're going to go out here. You're going to see these things happen. The one thing I have mentioned, and you know, all the things I've spoken about, even living here 11 years, you know, I wouldn't say it surprises me anymore, but I'm still not 100% used to it, if that makes sense. But, you know, it's just, wow, look at that. And it doesn't matter, keep going. So, you know, just be aware. But like I say, those are just some talking points. What I would ask you, please, is drop in your comments below about any experiences you've had when you first came over here, what surprised you. Let's steer away from the girls' side of things, please. I know obviously about that, but let's just think about general day-to-day stuff. What did you think? Wow, I didn't expect that. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please, as always, remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. Please have a look, as I said earlier, on our buzzingpattaya.com website. It's packed full of information. There's a members area there. Join our Discord group. Over 10,000 members. It's totally free of charge. Lots and lots of people in there that are very experienced, much more experienced than myself, and they'll happily answer questions for you and guide you if you need some guidance or advice. And that's it from me. All right, thank you so much indeed for watching, and please, as always, wherever you are in the world, stay safe.